What up, Magic Man Nation? It's your boy, MagicManSports, bringing you a My Team gameplay. And I know I said I was going to bring you a association vid in the morning, but I almost forgot that tonight is going to be the start of the NBA playoffs. And I want to do a quick little prediction video before it comes out, just to give you my thoughts on what's going to happen. Don't worry, the association vid will be out tonight instead of a My Team tonight, so this is just swapping places with it. But the first series I want to get into is Eastern Conference, Boston versus New York. A lot of people say New York's going to run away with the series, but you can't count out Boston here. Boston is an experienced team. I know they have the more experienced team compared to New York in the playoffs, but New York has Melo, and I don't know. It's going to be a close series, closer than people think. I do think it's going 6 or 7, but I give the edge to New York. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston did pull this win out, but New York just has, I just think, a better overall team, and they have Melo. Melo's the difference maker. He's just the better scorer. I know Pierce is clutch. He can hit any shot. Probably better, more clutch in the playoffs than Melo is. But I do think this is Melo's year to maybe not win it all, but to get past the first round in the playoffs. Which then gets us to Chicago versus Brooklyn. This will be an interesting series. Everyone's depending on whether Derrick Rose is coming back or not. I personally don't think Derrick Rose should come back. He's not going to make as big as a difference as he thinks he is. I think he should wait till next year, get fully healthy, get fully confident, a full off season of training and workouts, and then just come back next year when they could maybe pick up a piece or two that they're missing this year. But even without Derrick Rose, if they have fully healthy everyone else, like Joakim Noah, Jimmy Butler, and all of their players total, if they're fully healthy, I do think they'll give Brooklyn a run for their money. As you see, Melo hits a ridiculous shot. That's the Melo I think is going to show up in the playoffs versus Boston. But Brooklyn, I do think they'll edge it out in the end. Joe Johnson, Deron Williams they're just big time shot makers down in the crunch time, and I just think they'll edge this one out versus Chicago. No dissing Chicago, but they're a really good team, and I think Meta World Peace said it right when he said Tom Thibodeau could win an NBA title with a bunch of old girls, and it's right. It's right. He probably could. He is probably one of the best coaches and probably the best defensive coach in the NBA. So now the next series is Atlanta versus Indy. This is an interesting series. You got Al Horford versus Roy Hibbert. You got Josh Smith. You got Paul George. You got a ton of good players. Two good teams there under the radar. Both, I think, whoever wins this series could give whoever, I think, is it Miami in the next round they would face, a run for their money. But I do think Indiana just has a couple more players to squeak this out. But if Atlanta gets hot, then watch out, because they've got two great players in Horford and Josh Smith. And if they start taking over the games and playing efficiently, then watch out for Atlanta. But then that brings us to Milwaukee versus Miami. I am a Bucks fan, so I might be a little biased about this, but not as biased as Brandon Jennings said when he said Milwaukee would win 6 in 6 games. That is just delusional. If people thought Monte Ellis was delusional when he said he was as good as Dwayne Wade, they must think Brandon Jennings has mental problems as well, because Milwaukee in 6 is unreasonable. The least amount of games I see Milwaukee winning is probably 2 games. So I think Milwaukee will get 2 games, but that would be lucky if they get 2 games. They've been playing terrible, and they got into the playoffs with a losing record. So I wouldn't expect them. I wouldn't get your hopes up for them to be doing too much in this playoffs. Then that gets us to the Western Conference. And the first game I'm going to talk about is Golden State versus Denver. 2 high-scoring teams. Stephen Curry, Ty Lawson. It's a good matchup, but people think that with a full healthy Denver squad they would beat Golden State, and I do agree with that. But I do think in this series Golden State will win it in 6, and the only reason I'm saying that is if you look at the team, Ty Lawson, he's playing hurt. Andre Iguodala, he hasn't been playing the same Andre Iguodala that he's used to be playing. I don't think the torn ACL for Gallinari is as big as people think it is. I do think Wilson Chandler is better, but the biggest injury is that sprained ankle, or the ankle injury for Kenneth Faried. If he's not full ready to go, I do think they're going to lose this series in 6. Just too many scores on Golden State, and with a team that is just not healthy at the right time, it's just tough to do anything in the playoffs. But then that gets us to Memphis versus the Clippers. This was last year, and this was the most entertaining of the series last year. Probably the best 7 games, the huge comebacks, the drama, the heartbreak, the tears, the sweat, the blood, the physicality, pretty much everything you could want from a series, it was there. But this year, I do think the Clippers will win a little bit easier. It all depends though on the defense that Tony Allen and Mike Conley play on Chris Paul. If they stop him from being Chris Paul and just to like a above average point guard, I think Memphis could squeak this one out. As you see, Michael Jordan, stop taking threes. LeBron says get out. But if they can do a good job holding them and they find their their scorer, if Zebo and Marcus Gasol can become that primary scoring for them, I do think they'll win. As you see, one too many points, and this guy quits. But continuing with my predictions, I think the Clippers in 6 are going to win, which brings us to LA San Antonio. I just think San Antonio is not healthy at the right time, just like Denver. I would pick them to win if they were fully healthy, but with Dwight Howard and Pau Gasol, and they have no real stoppers down low on defense, I just think the Lakers are going to win this one in 6. I do want the Spurs to win. I do like the Spurs too. You always gotta love a Greg Popovich coach team, but I do think the Lakers, the refs are not gonna let the Lakers, and David Stern is not letting the Lakers lose. Too much of a cash cow, too good of a storyline for ESPN. And that gets us to the last one: Houston versus OKC. The return of James Harden, and we'll see if James Harden is better off or not, taking more money or wanting to be on a title contender. I do think OKC is going to win this one in 6, and James Harden might have a chance. But you see, that's the end of this game. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday and have a good weekend. I'll post another video association tonight. But now you see me, now you don't.